Activation team would like to extend a warm welcome to all of you, our esteemed guests, my entire team, and our enthusiastic, energetic participants. Well, it is all because of you all who inspire us to come out with such innovative sessions. You keep us on toes to decide what we have to come up next with. Because seeing the enthusiasm and energy in you to participate, we also have to think out of the box. Well, today is the third and the finale day of our training session. In the 2 days, we learned a lot from Mr. Roth, who not only made these sessions interesting and interactive, but also very simple for us to understand. Most of the things that Mr. Roth spoke were very common, which we have already learned during our training sessions in the early years, but never brought them into implications. We never thought that they were so much important for us. Well, but now the sessions have awakened us and showed how important it is to take every little thing into consideration, especially when the children will resume after a long gap. Now, I would request Shelly ma'am to take the proceedings further by saying a few words about our esteemed guest speaker, the master trainer of the day, Dr. Sagarika Bhatia ma'am. Over to you, Shelly ma'am.
Thank you so much, Sonia ma'am. Let's have a rocking session again. And I am really excited to find all these lovely ladies amongst us. And this is again a request placed by me that if you can switch on the cameras so that we can even admire the beautiful young teachers, and you can flash your smile as Sonia is already flashing us, and the interaction between the teachers and the speaker would be a great hit. So without any ado, let me just introduce the rocking master trainer, and I'm so fortunate that she's one of my good friends. So because for this session, I wanted to bring a great personality, an amazing personality, and we are blessed that we have Dr. Sagarika amongst us, who is a very, very famous person. So let me just give a brief intro about her. That Dr. Sagarika Roy Bhatia, she's the author of the book Just Expressions, a speaker on global platforms, and also a parenting coach, neural coach, and a lead auditor for educational institutions. Currently, she is an educational thought leader working towards developing an alternate education learning environment for sports enthusiasts at Mohali, Punjab. She has been a recipient of awards from British Council, Local Corporator, Women's Economic Forum, etc. for her contribution to education. Her community service with women empowerment and youth development have been recognized by UNESCO. Now that is something amazing. Dr. Sagarika truly owes her success from a teacher to a leader to strong determination, focus, and moving out of her comfort zone. She's very passionate about rendering service to the needy, handicapped, senior citizens, and orphans. Her YouTube channel is testimony to her engagements on various platforms throughout the pandemic, and she strongly believes in giving back to the society and die empty. Now, Dr. Sagarika has an expertise in school governance, educational advisory, and strategy consulting with various international schools. So, all my dear friends, we already had, we were taught about the school learning, social and emotional development with a focus on self-regulation and also early childhood pedagogy and behavior. But today, Dr. Sagarika will be teaching us about the role of parents in development of social and emotional behavior. And I think this will be one of the next rocking session of ours because she is full of energy and enthusiasm. So I want all of you to please get yourself connected with her, get ready with a notepad and a pen, because at the end of the session, we will be giving you a form which consists of 4 questions. And all those 4 questions will be based on the talk which she will be delivering to us. Even I will be sitting with my diary and a pen because I will be picking up the notes given by Dr. Sagarika Bhatia. So I think get set, ready, and over to Dr. Sagarika Bhatia. Kids Captivation gives you a warm welcome on this platform, and let's rock the session.
Thank you very much, Shelly. That was indeed an elaborate introduction of mine, but I'm just a normal parent, a teacher by heart, and a coach. I love meeting people and involving myself in coaching. so that we all can become better individuals. And if we are better individuals, we will all create better environment for our children, you know. But after all the introduction, there is one thing I would like to tell you all that is missing in my introduction is I'm a storyteller.
Oh, wow.
I
That's
love
nice.
to tell stories. Yeah, I love to tell stories. So today, through storytelling itself, I will be involving you all through the session of parenting. And nice to see the lovely faces. I would love to see all of you all with your cameras on from Bangladesh, from everywhere. I can see some expats also here. Lovely to see all of you all. Welcome to this session. Once again, thank you very much, Miss Shelley. And thanks to the team that you lead for having me over this evening. And with this note, let me begin with a short story. Now, what is parenting? Let's see it. There was, in a jungle, okay? In a jungle, we had a lion. And you know, the lion is always hungry, always in lookout for prey. So the lion was running, looking here, looking there and everything. Then the lion found a cow. The lion found a cow and felt very happy on that day. Oh, wow. Today I secured my meal. Now I don't need to do anything. Let me just enjoy my meal. So the lion started running after the cow. And the cow also started running. The lion is running, the cow is running, the lion is running, the cow is running. And the lion is, you know, very fast, very quick. So the cow is also equally clever. So the cow saw a pond, a small pond. And the cow quickly thought that it is a good decision if I just go and jump into the pond. And the cow went and jumped into the pond. Okay. And it knew that the lion won't be all that swift in a pond. So let me just go and jump into the pond. So as soon as the cow jumped into the pond, then the pond was very muddy, very, very muddy. Okay. And as the cow got into the pond, the cow was actually sinking into the mud. Now the lion kept on searching for the cow, saw the cow there sinking, but still it didn't know that it was sinking. It ran, okay, and it again jumped into the pond. The tiger also jumped into the pond. And the tiger jumped in the pond. Now the tiger is also sinking. The lion is also sinking, and the cow is also sinking. But the cow seems absolutely cool, calm, relaxed, no fear, nothing, that the lion is right in front of him, and there is nothing that is troubling him. So this is what was troubling the lion, you know. This is what was troubling the lion, that how come this cow, it's a cow, it knows that I'm going to be eating on him very soon. I'm going to be pouncing on him very soon. He's going to be finished in very soon. He's going to be over and done with very soon. But he's not scared at all. Ye kya baat kya hai? What is the matter, you know? And then he says, no, I have to ask this question to the cow. I can't take this anymore. I mean, the anxiety is building now in the lion, that how can the cow be so calm? Yeah. So then he asked the cow that what happens? Why are you so calm? How are you so composed? Aren't you scared that I'm right in front of you in close proximity? We both are in close proximity, but you seem absolutely cool. What is the matter? So, you know, what does the cow say? The cow says that I know I have a guarding angel. I have a guarding angel. Okay, the cow heard who's there is my guarding angel. If he sees that I won't return home in the evening, he will certainly come and search for me. He will search for me and he'll come and save me. So the moment he said this, that cow herd actually came searching for him. And the moment he saw the cow had sunk himself into the, into the marshy mud, the cow herd picked him up, saved him, and took him home. Isn't it beautiful? So this is what is parenting, and this is what is P for parenting: psychological safety. Psychological safety, the very first P of parenting, I will use this acronym. I would use parent as an acronym, and I would go through to make the learning session very easy for you all and interesting. You know, I don't want to put in too many theories. No, we are not here to learn theories, but we are here to learn facts. I'm going to be bringing real life situations for all of you all. That is, what do we do as parents for the SEL? What is SEL? Social emotional learning. So the first P is the psychological safety. That is, we as parents need to give this kind of safety to our children. Now, how do we have this challenging atmosphere for our children? What happens? Psychological safety is actually a threat when the husband and wife are fighting. The wife is fighting with the in-laws. There is lot of arguments in the house. The whole atmosphere in the house is not congenial for child development and growth. And please remember that children are passive learners. They are all passive learners. Actively, you may try to teach them ABC, but let me tell you, they know more than you and me. They can sense, and this sense comes to the child as soon as the child is born. If you think that my child doesn't understand anything, my child is still not grown, oh, usko kuch nahi samajh mein aata. No, you've highly mistaken. The child knows how to demand. जो बोलते हैं ना कि जब तक बच्चा रोता नहीं माँ भी दूध नहीं पिलाती है. This is what it is. This is communication. This is communication. So from day one, the child knows how to. You and me also don't know how to ask for things. Today, if I have to ask you that go and ask XYZ for something, still you'll be thinking, should I ask? Shouldn't I ask? Should I ask? Shouldn't I ask? But a child doesn't do that. And the child exactly knows whom to see and cry. The child will not look at the father and cry. The child will look at the mother and cry. That's the sensing. That's a kind of environment. So the child understands each and everything. You see, sometimes children, when they come to some other unknown person's lab, they start crying. Yeah, they see another person. You take them to somebody's house, they see them crying. Now you take children to a person without a mask, the child starts crying. In my building, I have a child like this. The child sees he's a COVID child. He's a COVID child. The moment he sees another person without a mask, it's unnatural for him. He starts crying. You know, so what is it? These are the senses that the child is using. So please don't underestimate your child. Your child understands each and everything that is happening around you. They are all passive learners from the day that they are born. So please be very careful of what environment are you giving your child. So SEL depends on the environment that you are developing your child in. So many times, you know, we feel that, oh, it doesn't matter, thoda sa ye ho gaya, you know, thoda sa. I mean, see, sometimes there is a crisis situation in the family. There is a crisis situation, but then you see people, how they hype the crisis situation. The mother is crying and there's so much of, you know, phone calls are going from here to then the hospital, ye ho gaya, wo ho gaya, aisa ho gaya, you know, so much of anxiety and everything. And even otherwise of there is aggression, anxiety. A child can sense all of these emotions right from day one that the child is born. In fact, in the womb, you know the story of Abhimanyu. Yeah, you very well know the story of Abhimanyu. So it all starts from the womb. All the emotions start from the womb itself. And this is what is social emotional learning. All the emotions start from the womb. So don't ever underestimate that the child doesn't understand anything. The child understands everything. So P is for psychological safety. And this is how you're going to give your child psychological safety, by being by them, for them 24/7. At least they don't, until and unless they don't become independent. Okay. So that was P for you. Is everybody clear with P? Kindly please type in P in the chat box. Let me just quickly see a P just a P for parenting in the chat box. Yes, thank you, Sonia. I can see the thumbs up, but a P, yes. Okay, Neelam, Rajbir, P. Okay, very good. Sanmeet, P. Sonia, okay. Yes, quickly. Let me see if all of you all are participating. Seema, Usha, Nilima, Shweta. Okay, good. But yet I'm not getting the speed by which this P should be moving. So I need you all to be with me throughout, please. Okay, now next, let me come to parenting. We have A. What does A stand for? A stands for answering questions. What does A stand for? Answering questions. Now, what happens is that our children, I heard yesterday's speaker for a while. And then, you know, after hearing him for a while, I said, yeah, I mean, it's almost the same, you know, with children, it's just the same. So that is, we need to build curiosity into our children. So the moment you say, no, go search Google, mere paas time nahi, I don't have the time right now. Okay, I will speak to you later on. Maybe I don't know. The moment you don't answer a child's question, you're killing the child's curiosity. Are you all getting me? So please, 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 if your child will have many questions. So the thing is, when you answer the child's question is when you're giving your child that kind of confidence. You're giving that kind of, you are the hunger, the curious, the hunger of the child. You're quenching the thirst for knowledge, because the moment you stop the child is where the child will stop asking you questions. And if the child stops asking you question is where the child stops the connection. So slowly, by you not answering the question, you are just stopping the connectivity between you and your child. So it's very important, parents, that you answer each and every question of your child, because if you don't answer the question, it is a loss of self-confidence. The child doesn't feel that connect at all. And at the same time, see, children are the more, at any age, today my children are around 23, 24, still they look up to me to answer questions, because they feel that, okay, I know maybe better than them. So if you fail to, meet that expectation, even as a teacher, because they've got so much of information already, they're getting a lot of information from YouTube, from Google, from this, and I mean, it's an information outburst, now, absolute information outburst. But certain questions still remain unanswered, which the child always looks at you, that is a teacher, a parent, a mentor, a coach, still looks at you. And that is why today parenting has become a very important topic: coaching, parenting, mentoring, because everything a book can't give you all the answers, because it is a person's own experience that speaks about such things. So please share your experience. I tell you, like, for example, if your child wants a toy, don't say, I won't give you the toy. Okay, don't do that. If you have some financial constraints, not a problem, share it with your child. Always be a friend, share it with your child. Or your child doesn't need to see only good days. No, share everything with your child, that see, we are also earning, we are both of us earning. This month we have to pay this, we have to pay that. Next month we will save some money and we'll do it. So this way, what is happening is you are also emotionally developing the child. Yes, socially also you're developing a child, that this is a story of every household. So just don't go and expect anything that at a click of button, like how you get the information at a click of a button, quick gratification is not going to happen in life. That is not how life works. So please share your experiences with children. There is no harm. There's absolutely no harm. Children take it, but depends on how you are going to say it. If you say, sorry, mere paas paisa nahi hai, I don't have the money to buy you, that is wrong. That is absolutely wrong. Yeah, explain it to the child. Explain it to the child that this is how the economics work. This is how the world works. Today, if we ask something to the government is not going. Today, if I want good roads, is the government tomorrow coming going to give me good roads? No, they won't give me. So similarly, even if you ask me for something, I also as a parent won't be able to give you, because I need to plan my budget. And then with this, when you see your child is growing, the child will grow with a lot of understanding. So this is what about answering question. A is very important about answering question. So is everyone with me with the alphabet A answering question? Come on, please type A in the chat box. I want to see the quick response. Come on, quick. Yes. It's better than last time. Better than the key. Better than the P, sorry. Okay, Jessie, Neelam, Richa. Yeah. Come on. I love to see these. I want to see the energy in all of you all. Come on, Sonia. Yes. Harminder, Alka. Okay, Lakshmi, Neelam, lovely. Okay, so that was P and A for you. I would like to reiterate. P for, if somebody can unmute yourself, P for?
P is for psychological safety.
Psychological safety, A for answering questions. Okay, now next we go for R. R is developing resilience in your children. Now, see, many of the parents, I'm giving you examples very age specific with all of you all, because you all are pre-primary teachers and parents of little children. So see, when the child falls, what do? We go and hit that place. Yeah. Okay. This table has hurt you. You got hurt because of this table. You got hurt because of this mobile. Okay, let me hit the mobile. Okay, now are you fine? And the child says, yeah, now I'm absolutely fine. This is what we are doing. So how are we creating resilient children then? How are we creating? Are we teaching them to lose? Are we teaching them that this is a part and parcel of life, that you're going to fall, you will get hurt, but we need to rise. We need to rise up to the challenge. But from day one, what you're instilling into the child is that the other person is to be blamed. And then when the child starts blaming you all, starts blaming another friend, then you all say that he's complaining. But who's in charge of it? You yourself is in charge of it, because this is what you showed the child since childhood. You blame the other person. गिर गए, चलो चोट लग गई, वो दीवार को kick the floor, hit the tree, do whatever hit. But then the child is happy. Yeah, fine, you've done that. Now, tell me what is it? You yourself is developing these things into your child. And then you can't blame the child, or the child is doing exactly what you have done to the child, because the child apes whatever you do. The children learn from you. That's why they say environment is important, because in whatever environment you're going to bring the child is going to behave that way. So then please don't blame the child. If the child is not, tomorrow is not ready to rise to the situation, it is your fault. So you're not developing resilience into the children. Then it's okay. You will fall. ठीक है, गिर गए ना, कोई बात नहीं. No problem. चलो उठो, चलो, let's go. Encouragement, motivation. You need to be the wind beneath their wings, parents and teachers. Be the wind beneath the wings of your children. Give them that no problem. Today you've fallen here, tomorrow you'll fall in life also. Doesn't matter. Come on, chalte rahenge. Let's move on. Let's move on. So this is something that you need to build with your children, is R for resilience. Are you all getting me? So is it simple? Have I made it very simple? R for resilience? Yes. Now I'll tell you a story again with this. There was a family, okay? A family went to a zoo. We take our children to the zoo. Even we have field trips with our children. We take them to the zoo. So a very beautiful zoo where all the animals are free and moving and here and there. But of course, there is an area where it is caged, wherein you can't go beyond that particular area. So the children are very happy with the parents, group of parents going there. Children are seeing a leopard, tiger, lion, chimpanzee, ape, everything. And they've always seen it in the books. And the moment it comes live in front of them, it's a different reaction. So when they see all this, they're very happy. And in the books, they've always seen that the elephant always is walking, is the king of the jungle. I mean, lion is the king, but then elephant is like the most robust person of the jungle and is always moving. In the books also, you see stories of the elephant. You never see an elephant normally standing at one position, So when they go there, they see the elephant standing at one position in the zoo. So the children are very curious. But what happened? We've read that the elephant, is always moving around. It's a very harmless animal, doesn't eat anybody. So an elephant is never caged. It's never caged. So whatever children learn in the books, this is what they come. And again, they ask a question. They ask a question to the parents that what is it? We've always seen that animals are walking around. How come in this zoo, this particular animal is caged? And they see that there is a very big chain. The animal is, that elephant is tied with a very big, very thick, big chain, So then they ask the parents that what is it? That why is this animal tied with a big chain? So now the parents are also perplexed. Now they are wondering, kya bolenge bachche ko? What are they going to inform the child about? What is it? Then they call the zoo personnel. Okay, they call the zoo personnel, the guide, and then they say, "Aap samjha do inko, inform them that what is it that why is this elephant tied?" So then the zoo person, he informs the children that, see, this particular elephant doesn't want to move at all. He just doesn't, and he doesn't feel secure. He just doesn't feel secure. The moment we remove that chain, he starts behaving very vague, very vague. He loves to be with that chain. He's very calm and quiet. The moment we put the chain, he's very quiet. So then that's the child's curiosity is done. Okay, now the parents are very curious that what has happened? Why does this animal behave vaguely with the chain and without the chain? So then he tells the thing, that when this particular elephant was a baby elephant, they had tied the baby elephant, with the chain. And that baby elephant, when it was tied with the chain, it got so used to be with the chain, tied with the chain, that till date, it could never change its mindset. It could never ever change its mindset, what was here, because that was security for that animal. That the chain, when I'm tied with the chain, that is security for me. But is this what we want to do with our children? That this way you're cutting the wings. You're cutting your child's wings. How are you developing the resilience in your child? Unless you don't remove the chains, Remove the chains. Let your child free. Let your child free. Unless you don't do that, unless you don't give your child freedom, your child won't know what is resilience. So this is the story of the elephant. Are you all getting me? Yes? Yeah. So this is the elephant, that it's a question of your mindset, that the elephant could have lived very well, but you need to rewire your brain. And there is something, as a neural coach, maybe some other day I could connect with you all. There is something called the theory of neuroplasticity, which says that at any age you can come out of your situation, whatever situation you are, but you just need to rewire your brain. So this is about R for resilience with the story of elephants. So R and E, kindly please type it quickly. Yes, Nilima, only R. No E, you didn't understand? E, sorry, E for elephant, the story. Okay, Harminder, yes, Nilima. Okay. Very good, Jassi. Yeah, Shelly, yeah, good. I hope you're enjoying it, Shelly, and I hope all of you all are enjoying the session. Wonderful, good. If I'm going too fast, please do let me know. Yes, thank you very much. Good feedback. Yes, I'm happy. You know, it's very encouraging for me also to see that, okay, all of you all are. Thank you, Sanmeet, Shinki, Aurora. Good. Priyanka. Lovely. Harminder. Okay, good. Fine. So that was PAR for y'all. Now I come to E. Very important qualities of empathy. Why is it so important? We'll come to it. And E for exposure, E for experience. Yeah. So E for exposure and E for experience is again a very important part of a child's development. Social development, as E for empathy, emotional development, then experience and exposure is social development. Now, what do we do? Now, let me tell you, what do we parents do? Convenient, you know. Market, acha, kahan ja rahe hain hum? Idhar, just going here. Where are you going to the market just to bring some vegetables? Acha, mom, can I come with you? No, you sit. I'll just go and I'll just quickly go. Others will tell the neighboring, we'll tell the maid at home, go get something for us. Or we'll order Amazon now, all thanks to Amazon, all thanks to Big Basket. All of these, we are just getting everything at our doorstep. But do you know how much of damage you all are doing by doing that? By just because of your convenience, you are not developing the social skills of your children. The child, when the child goes to the market with you, the child learns how to speak, how you are addressing the vendor. You address the vendor, whether you are shouting at the vendor or whether you are, when would you scream at the vendor when the vegetable is not good or when they've cheated? See, the child is observing everything. So the child knows that the vendor is not giving you the right vegetable. You can raise your voice and speak. But when you're asking for something, you need to be humble and polite. Okay. So these are all skills that your child is going to learn only if you give your child exposure. But you all don't want to give your child exposure. Husband and wife want to go out. Child has to be at home with the nanny. The wife will tell somebody, okay, aap jaake le aao bhaji. You go there, you go here. But the child is still sitting at home. You know, so this is not development, parents. This is convenience. And let me tell you, parenting is not an art of convenience at all. Parenting is not at all an art of convenience. Parenting is a lot of effort. Since day one, the child who has come to your house, you need to go on and on. Expose, go for trips, expose your child to different environments. Expose your child to different people. Take them to, now see, whenever we go to the hospital, we say, oh, no. It's, of course, many hospitals nowadays, because of COVID, they don't allow children. But when during normal times, we never took the child to the hospital. Why? Because we feel that the child will feel very, dar jayega, hamara bacha dar jayega. Then you are not creating brave hearts then. You're not creating brave hearts at all. Because you are assuming. Please don't assume things as a parent. Be open. Take them with you. You want to go to a hospital, you want to see an accident, go take them to an accident place, go take them to the hospital, go take them to a mortuary if required, go take them to a funeral if required, go take them to an old age home, go take them to an orphanage. Do these things with your children. Very, very, very important. Don't draw boundaries, don't draw barriers. You are the cause that who's drawing barriers, and then you say that, oh, my child is an introvert child, wo to baat hi nahi karta, doesn't speak. You are the cause. No child is born introvert, extrovert. What kind of environment are you giving your child? What kind of exposure you are giving your child is what makes that particular child. So now you can see now whom to blame. Yeah, whom to blame. These fingers are all coming back to us. Yeah, so I'm also in the same boat with you all when I say yes, when I say parenting. Even I am a parent of 2 boys. So it's nothing. I mean, we all are facing the same thing because of convenience. Because of convenience. Oh, kal we'll take the child. Okay, tomorrow. Fine. I want to go and buy some paneer in the dairy. Take your child to the dairy. Let the child learn. Let the child try to ask you a question. Where is that milk coming from? You know, this was a case like this. I mean, when the child went to a farm and then saw the cow giving milk, he's saying, impossible, the cow can't give milk. Impossible. वो तो थैले में ही आता है दूध. It comes in a packet. It's not possible that the cow is giving milk. How can the cow give milk? Because you've not taken the cow to the source. You've never taken the cow to the source. You've only shown the cow whatever, you know, best here and there you can do it. You're just doing that. So parenting is not about convenience. Parenting is about experiments, exposure, and many times we as parents will also fail because no rule fits all, no dress fits all, no hat fits all the same. When you all have 2 kids, 3 kids, if you say that, oh, I use the same trick to with my elder child, now I'll use the same trick with child B also, it's not going to work. So we also should be ready to experiment and fail as parents. We are not God. We are not God for sure. Please don't think that you all are even next to God. Okay, we all are here to fail and experiment. Let's do it, because for us, every child who's coming to us is very different, very, very different. Yeah. So it's important that we give that kind of exposure. We experiment with our children and take our children along everywhere. Please don't get into that convenience zone. And especially now, due to cars and things like this, we've stopped walking. We've stopped taking children, walking here and there. Unless we, when you're walking with your child also, there is so much that the child can observe. We've got 5 senses. All the 5 senses we can only absorb when we see, when we hear the sound. When there is a sound, if you've never exposed your child to a particular sound, kaan band kar lo, you say this, you always fear that your child is going to be scared. Why? Let your child when there's Diwali or bomb or something like this, kaan band kar lo, close your ears. Why? For what? Let the child get used to the sound of an atom bomb or bomb. So tomorrow if there's bombing somewhere, at least the child will be aware, oh, there is a bombing somewhere, something has happened, I need to run. If you don't expose your child, the child will not know. Like same thing with taste also. You'll cook special food for your child, special food. My child doesn't eat this. No, he eats this food, that food. I make special food for my child. Why special food for your child? Why? And then you all complain, oh my God, now I have to cook 2 dishes for him, and another 2 dishes for this. Is this my only job as a mother? I've got no other better job in this world. But you all have created that thing for your child, that, oh, you don't like spicy food? Never mind, I will cook separately for you. Then you all instill these things into your children, and then when it becomes a pain, then you all start complaining, So again, parenting, fine. So please don't do that. Don't do that at all. Just don't do that. Be very normal with your child. Your child is a human being, absolute human being. Let him live like a human being. Don't make it like a precious thing. Oh my God, darling, and just not to chot nahi lagni chahiye, shouldn't get any hurt, should be absolutely. Then you are not creating resilient children. You're not creating strong children. You're not creating brave hearts, and you're not getting children to face the real life situation. Is it clear? Is it absolutely clear? So who's to be blamed? Child? This. Yeah, this is to be blamed. Yeah, fine. So that was E for empathy. So unless you don't take your children out, they won't know what is empathy, because they need to see your behavior to ape you that what is empathy. Kiske saath? If you speak to the watchman, hey watchman, idhar. Now see how many times we call the garbage vendor, we go, hey kachre wali aa gayi, kachre wali. See our language. See the language that we are using. Kachre wali aa gaya. That is not right. That's absolutely not right. We have to use the right, because these are community workers. These are community workers. We need to address them with respect. Bhaji wala, kachre wala. So this is what we've given such names which are taboos, which are absolutely taboos. So please use right. Uncle, auntie, add an uncle, add an auntie beside it. Oh, auntie aa gayi, whatever. Add whatever. Didi, bhaiyas. In the school also we call our class 4 as Didi, bhaiyas and all. Why do we do that? So that, we can have that empathetic environment when all of us are one. They feel that oneness with everyone. There is no segregation. There's absolutely no segregation. And if the child has to segregate somebody going ahead in life, again, you parents are going to be blamed. that because you have always done that, these are the minority class, these are the ones who don't sit with us, these are the ones who don't eat with us. That should be that's the last thing that you should be doing at home. That's the last thing, because these segregations are the one which are going ahead in their lives. And this later on goes on to going into, this country, that politics, this religion, and this caste. I mean, who's doing? God has not sent us. God has not sent the child with the child is absolutely empty. It's an empty slate when it comes to you to school. In pre-primary is all that you instill in the child. So please expose your child, let your child experience each and every situation. So that was E for empathy, experience, exposure. Is E clear with everyone? Come on, type E for me. Okay, yes. Priyanka, Navleen, Jassi, Lakshmi, Usha, Madhuri, lovely. Okay, good. Very good. So that was PARE. What's the time? It's 6. I have time, right? Shelly, please.
Yes, you have time. Go ahead. We all are enjoying. You can see the enthu level of the participants also. Go ahead.
Ma'am, you have sufficient time. Please go ahead.
Okay, done. Fine. So now N comes. N is teach your child to say no. Very important. In today's day, see, everywhere, those were the times where we always said that, whatever people ask for, never say no. Kabhi na nahi kehna. Whatever they say, do it. But let me tell you, parents, times have changed. Our environment has changed, our times have changed. So with changing times, we parents also have to change with our parenting skills. So very important to teach your child to say no, because especially today with the kind of environment that your child would be, all the time you can't be with your child. All the time you can't be. And nowadays what is happening is that you don't know, the schools are huge, and there could be so many touching at the wrong places, and maybe so many things are happening. So if you teach your child to say no, your child will also say no in the environment where the child feels insecure. Very important. Like if the child doesn't want to share a tiffin with somebody, let the child learn to say no. You don't have to eat everything that comes your way. No, it shouldn't be that way. So learn, I mean, subtly you can start teaching your child when the child starts going to school, that is your good touch, bad touch. Okay. Learn to say no with good touch, bad touch. Fine. And then thereafter, okay, even if the child doesn't, if the instinct of the child doesn't permit the child to do something, ask your child to go with the basic instinct also. Children are blessed with basic instinct, because at that point of time, they are not good communicators. They're not good communicators at all. So you see a child, the moment a child's basic instinct works, the child starts crying on seeing a stranger, because the child can't take up to that stranger, the stranger's face, the stranger's emotions, the stranger's body language doesn't suit that particular child. So every child has a basic instinct. Let the child go with the basic instinct. Please don't force your child to do things. Arey beta, we are in a group. You sing the rhyme. Mera bacha na sings the rhyme very well. Beta, 2 lines suna do na, please. Huh? Oh, he sings very well. She sings very well. Oh, will you dance a little bit? Why? For what? The child does. If the child is doing it readily, let the child do it. If the child is not doing it readily, why force the child? Just because you want to show that your child is good at something, so you're making your child a display item in front of everyone. For what? If the child doesn't want to do it, let the child. It's a child's basic instinct. It's not that the child is an introvert. The child is not an introvert, but maybe the child is not feeling good in that particular circle. So please listen. That is psychological safety. You need to listen to your child. So what is psychological safety? Is the environment that you are giving to your child that is conducive for your child's growth. If your child feels threatened somewhere, so please ask questions. If the child comes and tells you, if the child, and for all these things, there are so many ways that you can really, when the child is biting the nails, too much of biting the nails, that means the child is threatened. Somewhere the child is threatened. If the child is visiting the loo very often, all the time visiting the loo, that means there is some fear factor in the child, which the child is unable to come up with, can't speak. So we as parents, we as adults, we as mentors, we as coaches, we as teachers, okay, need to know these telltale signs that what is it? Why is the child always biting the nails? That means there is somewhere, it's lacking something. Yeah. And then the child is, playing with the hair like this. You see so many children just playing with the hair like this, making circles in the hair. What is all this? These are all just to the child wants to distract itself from that atmosphere. So please read these telltale signs. Very important. Also, you need to know your child as a parent. You need to know your child so well that the moment the child comes to one particular atmosphere, if the child's expression changes, you should be able to read your child's expressions, So this is what it is, that ask your child to say no, and ask your child to say no when the gut instinct says that I don't want to do this. Tell your child, koi baat nahi, there is no problem, no worries at all. You don't want to do it, don't do it. We will do it another time. We'll do it another time. You don't want to go there. So many times maybe the child has had a bad experience of going to somebody's place, and the child doesn't want to go there again, but no, we force the child. Every time we force the child, so that is wrong. That is wrong. So please teach your child to say no. That is in today's day, especially very, very, very important point that you need to teach them. Is that clear? Okay. So after the no with N, I go to the last point, that is T. T is time. T is for time. Every habit that you teach your child grows with the time. Okay, so time and habit. So don't say that this is the habit. Oh, he's developed some new habit. It is not, nothing is new. With the time, you have itself developed this habit, which is now growing. So please understand, you need to give time to your child. When you give time to your child, you are removing the H from the habit. HABIT. Okay, habit is gone, H is gone. Then comes, you still have a bit. There is still a bit of that habit. You remove that A after having affection with your child. Give your child enough of affection, and then you remove that A from that habit. Still there is bit. There is bit remain from it. So that B, you give your child a lot of belonging. Give them the feeling of belonging. When you give them the feeling of belonging, that no, we are there as parents for you. When you give that belonging, the B is also gone from habit. And what is remain? It. And that it is when you give it, that is when you give the child your time. When you give the child your time, you can only develop good habits in your children. Okay, so this is habit and this is time for your children. So please give your children enough of time so that you can develop good habits in them. You can develop good morals in them. You can develop good values in them, because today a person who's learned doesn't really count, but a person who has a very strong value system is a person who can survive in this world. Because there are a lot of distractions. We are all spoiled by choice. Today, even if a child wants a chip, you can give him Lays, you can give him masala Lays, you can give him lemon flavor, some American onion flavor, some paprika flavor. I mean, imagine the choice that a child has. A child is spoiled by choice. So these are all the habit formation. So the moment you spend more time with your child, you're developing these. So if you want to really have a robust child with you, you need to give the child enough of time. So that was time. For one of
sorry to intervene, Dr. Sagarika. Our dear Navleen has requested to please explain habit again.
Yeah, sure. I'll explain it again. Yeah, the word habit. Habit is, what is habit? Habit is something that you're doing over a period of time. Habit, आदत जो हम जो बोलते हैं, आदत तो एक दिन से नहीं पड़ती है, right? If you're putting a habit to your child that before going to sleep, the child drinks a glass of milk, the child is going to drink a glass of milk every night before he goes to sleep. And then tomorrow, then the child will get cavities because the child has had milk, and that is lactic acid, which is causing cavities. And then you say that mera bacha to sota hi nahi till the child doesn't drink milk. Who's put this habit into your child? You have put the habit in. So habit goes over a period of time. So what I mean to say is that H, that is your habit. So H, when you give your child happiness, you remove the H. Then still you have with a bit remove. You have a bit, yeah. So a bit, when you give is affection. When you give your child affection, you're removing that A. Still you have bit. So that B stands for belongingness. If you give your child a sense of belongingness, you are still withdrawing the child from any particular habit because you're giving the child a psychological safe environment. So that is also gone. So BHAB is gone. So now what is remained is it. This it is the time that you're spending with the it. That is, it's a boy or a girl or an animal or whatever it is, whoever is. To develop a habit, you need to spend time with your child, because when you spend time with your child is when you develop good values, good morals. You say sanskari ghar, sanskari bacha, because today you can be educated to any limit. But if you are not a person with a good value system, you will get lost in this world. You'll be absolutely lost in this world, because there are people all the time. You know that frog story? You know the frog story? Let me tell you this story also now. The frog, two frogs hopping here, hopping there, hopping there, hopping there. They fall into a jar of milk. Okay, they fall into a jar of milk. And now these two frogs, they are really trying very hard to get out of the jar of milk. Okay, and there were many frogs around in that place, hopping. There many frogs fell into the jar of milk, and jar of milk is very good. The frogs enjoyed the jar of milk, sipping the jar of milk. They enjoyed it. Now when they wanted to come out, the frogs just wouldn't let them come out. They were all pulling each other's leg. The moment one frog would try to come out, the other frog would pull the leg down. Again, the would come out, the other frog would pull this way. They wouldn't let the frog pull out, but one frog came out of the jar. One frog could come out of the jar. And how did the frog come out of the jar? Is that because that particular frog was deaf, couldn't hear the others saying, don't go, stay here, stay in the comfort zone, stay here. And this is how the frog couldn't hear, and hence the frog moved out. So this is what it is, So these are habits that you need to get into your children, so that your child has a value system, doesn't listen to anybody, does what the child wants to do to move ahead. Yeah, somewhere we have to also teach them where to give a ear and where to give a deaf ear, which side of the bread to butter, which side of the bread not to butter. These are all skills, value systems that over a period of time, as you spend time with your child, can you develop these habits and lessons with your children. So is habit clear now? Who was asking me the question? I hope it's clear. Okay, perfect, superb, excellent. Thank you. So now that was time, T for time, but T is also train them well. T is for train them well. When I say train them well, you need to develop good skills into your child during this little age of, see, the skill sets are different at different age groups, but as you all are all pre-primary ECC, I think, am I right? You all are all pre-primary educators and children. Okay, no, it's not that way. Okay, fine. So then, I mean, however, parents, educators, whichever age you all are, please try and develop skills into your children. Very important, a vocation, a skill. Now, when it is a small little baby, what skill do you need to develop? You need to develop good listening and good speaking skills, for which your language has to be very good. You need to listen to them so that they understand what is listening. Play good music for them, take them to good places, speak to them, so that they also learn to speak and listen well. Very important. So these are your child grows up. There are so many skills that you can develop into your child, because these days, if a child needs to survive in this world, the child has to be geared with one or the other skill. Otherwise, you will perish because of competition. The competition is so much. There is cutting edge competition everywhere. So if you really don't develop your child with any skill, in fact, it doesn't mean, when I say skill, it is not educational. Even a skill like applying mehndi, if a person knows how to apply good mehndi and has a good marketing skill, can market himself, herself, and can go and, apply mehndi during festivals, during weddings, during whichever, can make money. So the thing is, and nowadays, no skill is gender specific. Absolutely no skill is gender specific. Everywhere you have the males getting into female spaces, you have the females getting into all the male spaces. Today, women are also bus driver, women are also policemen. Okay, so then there's everywhere. There is nothing is gender specific. So please don't have that bias within you as parents. Then no, I have a girl child, so I have to think differently for a girl child. Why? Big deal if you have a girl child, huh? There is no difference, absolutely no. The difference is in your mind, nothing else. The difference is in your mind. Then no, I don't think so. I should take my child there, my girl child there. It's a wrong environment for my girl child. No, not at all, not at all. Your child tomorrow has to survive in your absence. Your child has to survive. So then how is it different? How is it different? Nothing is different. So that, but the difference is in your own mindset, parents. So this is what was parenting. Now, with my acronym of parent, I would like to end with a story. After that, I will share a poem with Shelly. Maybe Shelly could put this on a group for all of you. It's a very, very beautiful poem that each parent should be knowing if you all really want to be good parents. Because there is somewhere we need to know that the children have come through us. They are by us. They are by us, but they are not for us. We always want our children to be around us, and we don't want them to grow. We want to cut their wings, but if you really see the birds, you see the bird in the mother father will, before the bird is going to arrive, the father and the mother, they bring their twigs, they make a very nice nest, beautiful nest. The mother is sitting there and the father is sitting on the egg hatching this. Then you see the little bird, the birdie coming in, and then they feed they open the mouth, they feed the birdie, everything, and then they let the birdie hop from branch to branch. And then the moment the bird learns to fly, they destroy the net. Why do they destroy the nest? Sorry, they destroy the nest because they don't want the child to come back to that nest. They want the child to fly. So we as parents, if we don't let our child fly, and if you want to say, nahi, ye to mere saath hi rahega, mere paas hi rahega, mera bachcha hai, that is, those days are gone. Children should fly, and we parents should let our children fly. Please don't be selfish. Be the wings beneath their wings, but please don't be the ones to cut their wings. Yeah. So I'll share this poem with Miss Shelly, and she'll share it with all of you. But the last story before I take the question answers, once again, in a kingdom, okay? In a kingdom, there was a very rich king, very, very rich king, extremely rich king. Now, this king one day went to stroll around his kingdom just to see how his men around, what are they doing, is everybody fine, happy in his kingdom. He went for a long walk. When he went for a long walk, he saw a woodcutter, and he saw the woodcutter cutting wood, and the woodcutter, while cutting wood, had a bottle of water beside him. So the king was very thirsty, extremely thirsty. So he went to the woodcutter and he asked the woodcutter, can you please serve me some water? Now the woodcutter said, I'm just a woodcutter. How can I serve you this water that I have? It's not right. Could you please go somewhere else to drink the water? But he said, no, I want to drink the water from here because I'm extremely thirsty. Now I can't move anymore. So please share water with me. And then because you've shared water with me, I give you a chance to visit my kingdom. Whenever you come around the kingdom, just come and say a hello. Okay. So this way he drinks water, the king goes away. Now one fine day, the woodcutter has cut the wood and he's burnt all the wood, everything. Now he thought, okay, now this is my time. I have worked enough in my life. Now this is my time to rest. So then he just remembers, one of the days the king told me, okay, whenever you're free, come and meet me in my kingdom. So he says, okay, chalo, let me go and meet the king today. He goes to the kingdom. The kingdom has big gates, huge gates, watchmen and all of those. They say, who are you? He says that, see, I'm a woodcutter. I am a woodcutter in this village itself. The king had once come and asked me for water. And then in return, he said that whenever you're free, come and visit me. Then they went and asked the king. The king said, oh, yes, he was the one to save my life. Call him in. He came in. So in front of all the people in the kingdom, he declared that this particular woodcutter, when he needed water, was given enough of water. So now in return, I'm going to give him a very big sandalwood farm. I'm going to give him a very big sandalwood farm and let him be blessed and let him make a living out of the sandalwood farm. So now the woodcutter is overwhelmed because he had finished cutting all the wood of his own farm. He had nothing else to do. He was really overwhelmed, and he went and he saw the sandalwood farm was smelling so good. Well, he was very happy. Oh my God, I'm blessed that I got the sandalwood farm. Thank you, king. Thank you, king. Thank you, Raja. And he moved with his sandalwood farm. Okay. Now, after another maybe couple of months, the king again went on his own rounds, and then he saw the sandalwood farm. The farm was half empty. The farm was absolutely half empty. So he was wondering, okay, what happened? He asked the woodcutter, what have you done with this wood? It's all empty. So he says that, I am a woodcutter. I cut the sandalwood and I burnt it. It became charcoal. It's burnt. Yeah. And I sold it. So the king says, Are, you don't know the value of the sandalwood tree farm that I gave you. The sandalwood, if you would have cut the sandalwood and polished it and sold it, you would have got a lot of money, more than what you got by burning this. But now parents see this. Where is the difference? Where is the difference? The woodcutter is a woodcutter. He doesn't know what is good, what is bad. Doesn't know what is going to give him more money. Where is the power of discretion? Where is the power of understanding good or bad? This is where coaching and parenting comes. That is, you have to make your children realize what is good, what is bad, in which situation, what should you be doing, in which situation, what you shouldn't be doing. Because 21st century skills is all about problem solving and decision making. Where does it come from? It comes, your first home is your learning center. This all comes from home. So the woodcutter didn't know. He thought this was also just another wood, so I can just cut it and burn it and sell it. Done. Charcoal. Fine. So the value. So value of things is up to you, parents, how you bring out this value of this life to your children and teach them what is right, what is wrong, where to do what, how to behave in whichever situation is very important. Because as we say that we need to teach our children, but before that we need to learn that a person can only be I mean, you know, they say it in Hindi, ke sar pe taj hazar aayenge, when you have, you know, sugar on your tongue and ice on your head. You know, you keep the cool with ice, your head should be as cool as ice, and your tongue should be as sweet as sugar. But where to use the sweetness? You, that is you as parents, as mentors, as coach, as teachers, as leaders, need to teach your children. So that was about my session, and I'm done with. I hope you all enjoy this. If you all have enjoyed this, please grade me between, I mean, in a scale of 10. I would just like to quickly see myself, because it's always about self-improvement also. So I would love to have that grading. Yes, lovely. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. It has been an amazing session. I think I'll be falling short of words for you now, because I was so glued to everything that you said. I have no words, ma'am, actually. It was too good for words. Too good. I hope everybody agrees to it with me. Okay, now as we are coming up to question answers, ma'am, one question with me that I have is, we obviously, as you said, we don't have to suppress the kids. We need to answer their questions whenever they put it up to us. In that way, we don't kill their curiosity. But ma'am, at times we are tongue-tied as parents or even teachers. We don't have appropriate answers as per their age. Like, you know, those answers what we genuinely have for the question are not age appropriate. We are not in a situation to explain it to them.
You give me a question and I'll tell you. You give me a question wherever you feel tongue-tied. Let me answer it in my way. Then maybe you would.
Ma'am, even like, for example, not if there is a death at home, okay, the children come up with weird questions. Why do you do all these things? Why is this ritual done? Where do you take the body? Why do you do this? There are lots of things, but at that minute of time, explaining that to a child gets very difficult for us also, because we don't know how to put it forward to the child. So how do we tackle it?
Yeah. So say suppose there's a death in the family. First of all, though, the children don't know the concept of death. You know, they just don't know the concept of death. So concept of death can be brought to a child with the help of a flower. That, can you see the rose flower on a tree? You all have seen flowers on a tree. We've taken you to a park. In a park, you've seen flowers. For how long does this flower stay? Flower is a living thing. Flower also is a living thing. They know the thing in living, non-living, you know, because I think living, non-living, you already all do it at that age. So you need to show them with the example of a flower, that the flower also doesn't stay. Everything has a life. Everything has a life. Today, even this mobile phone will not stay. This glass, for example, I have this particular glass. If I throw this glass on the floor, the glass is going to break. So everything has a lifespan. So teach them that, like this, human beings also have a lifespan. So when you become little old, you also have to, like how the flower also dies, this is called death. This is called death. That is, you don't live. You're no longer a living thing. So once you explain them that, and then you tell them that when something dies, you have rituals because this is what you do to human beings. But once the child's concept, see, the child's concept has to be very clear. Don't fake things to the child. Please don't fake. Oh, bhoot aake le gaya unko. Haan. So you are instilling fear. You are not bringing, you're doing is, if you don't drink milk, if you don't drink your, wo watchman aayega, watchman danda dikhayega, policeman, I'm calling the policeman just now. Come on, drink your milk, I'm calling the policeman. Why are you instilling fear of the policeman in your child? Policeman is a social worker. He's a community helper. Tomorrow, the moment the child sees a policeman, the child wants to withdraw himself. But actually, if the child is in trouble, the policeman can help the child. The child should learn that I must walk up to a policeman and I can ask that policeman that, uncle, I'm in trouble. Please help me. Please help me. But what happens since childhood? I'm calling the policeman, I'm calling the watchman, I'm calling the nurse, I'm calling the doctor. So the moment you say I'm taking today we are going to the doctor, okay? The child doesn't want to go to the doctor. Doesn't want to go to the doctor. Why? Because you have done that. Doctor will give you injection. Today, if you don't drink, if you don't eat this food, doctor will give you injection. See, your language. It's your language, nothing else. So please give facts to your children. That's what I said, that don't underestimate the understanding of your children, but you need to bring it down to age appropriate. Yes, it has to be age. Obviously, a grade 10 boy, I can't tell him that when the flower from bud stage goes to a flower stage and then the flower, it blooms. It's very beautiful. After that finish, it's gone. I can't, to a grade 10 child, I can't do that. So let it be age appropriate, but we have solutions for everything here. And whatever you are, you can ask me more questions. I'll give you more answers for it. The simple ways, very simple. Yes.
Dr. Sagarika, there is a question by Mr. Mohammad Saini. He asks, as a parent, what is the effect of you creating a false story as a means to advise your kid?
Yeah, so that's what I said, that nothing should be false. Don't create false story. Even if it's a negative thing, put it in a positive way. So that is going to be a positive mindset in your child. See, because at home, what happens, like simple with this story of death itself, the moment there is death, there is a lot of crying in the family, a lot of negative emotions. The child doesn't know how to react because the child has never seen something like that. Somebody was there yesterday, today is not there, and everybody around is sitting and crying. So how would the child react? The child would obviously get scared and would be fearful and things like this. But in that case, give the child more of sense of belonging, give the child that kind of psychology, keep the child close to you, because what happens when there's a death in the child, all the attention is towards the body which is gone. But whereas you're just forgetting that there are people around you also whom you really need to, you're focusing. That's why we are adults. No? That's why we are adults, and that's why we have children only when we are 25 and 26 and 23. We are not having children at the age of 11 and 12. See, God has made the system very clear. God has made our system very clear that we are not that mature to have children at 11 and 12 and 13, because now environments are different. So now at the age of 23, 24, I think by 23, 24, we've seen enough of world we've seen to explain the same thing to our children. So all we need to do is control our own emotions. We need to control our own emotions as parents. We need to be strong. We need to be the moment you have a child in your arms itself, they say that maturity starts. So that maturity, when it starts, it should be seen also. It has to be seen, So have that kind of less aggression, more maturity, more the way you deal, because your children are facing all these things. So that is what it is, It's all about your behavior and your upbringing and your kind of environment that you're giving that is going to harm. Yeah. So this is what it is. So I would like to tell Mr. Mohammed, that don't give any false answers. Give them the right answer, but maybe you could bring it down to their age. Because lying is not going to help. Lying is not going to help at all. Not at all. Not at all.
So I think you have fantastically answered this question of Mr. Mohammed, and I think he is very much satisfied. Now, Shinki Arora is asking a question that how can we handle much irritable child who is not ready to listen even a single word of us?
Right. Now, if the child is irritable, first of all, find out why is the child irritable. There is some stimulus. There is some stimulus around which is making the child irritable. Either it could be a person, Either it could be the food also. See, sometimes food also causes a lot of irritation, because if the digestion is not right, the child gets irritated. You know, the body has to be functioning absolutely well. So if the child is constipated, the child is irritated, the child doesn't want to listen to anything because the body is not supporting the child. Okay. And then also maybe there is some stimulant, maybe in your absence, maybe the maid servant is saying something or doing something, you know, something. You need to find out what is the root cause of that aggression that the child is facing. Once you find out that, and then you can address it. And still, if you can't address it yourself, there are a lot of child counselors, there are a lot of child psychologists. You can go to them, but then the irritant, you will have to find out. Maybe the irritant is in the food that you're serving. Maybe the irritant is in the sleep pattern. Maybe the child is not getting enough of sleep. Maybe the same bedroom where the child is sleeping, you all are all watching TV or speaking to your friends and all in the night, seeing Facebook videos, YouTube videos, and then you feel, oh, hamara bacha to so raha hai, can't, you know. So that is the thing. So all of these are stimulants wherein the child, you know, the irritation of the child can't express it well. And the way that the child expresses any kind of irritation is through aggression. That's the way. So please find out the stimulus in the environment and then address it. Thank you.
Very nicely explained, Dr. Sagarika. And my friends, do we have any other question to be put? See, you need to come out from the cocoon. She's such a warm lady. And by now you must have understood it, how nicely she was explaining with a couple of examples. And I just love the storytelling session, you know, with so many, you know, warm stories and beautiful examples she was giving. So be frank with her and see, as a parent, because, you know, we all are educators, but then
that's a question here, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, how to increase the attention span.
Yeah, how to increase
I love
the
this.
attention span in children.
Switch on the light here, just a second.
Yes, I can request others also to please type the question in the chat box.
Yeah, so increase attention span. Very beautiful question. Now, children love to play ball. Okay, football, ball, whatever. So now you give them a ball and get them a ball, but you need to play it with them. Don't expect children to do things alone. They always need companionship. Take the ball, bounce the ball on the wall. If you don't want to spoil your wall, if you all have a beautiful house or something, don't spoil the wall. Dribble the ball on the floor. Okay. So first time the child will dribble 2, the ball will move away. Okay. Next time again start 3, 4, the ball will again roll off, you know, but then you will see go up to 50, go up to 100. This is developing the attention, the focus and the attention is you through this game of ball. Otherwise, you can also take that small tennis racket that children have. Children have a badminton racket or tennis racket that they have, and the shuttlecock they have, or they have the tennis ball and some things. I mean, you know, the toys, the children have toys with that same thing. Just bounce, you know, the table tennis and the racket or something, you know, the ball and the racket, keep bouncing it. Once or twice it will fall again. Say, okay, now it's 2. Come on, next time you increase it, increases to 4. Excellent, superb. You know, because see, even you need to understand motivation plays a very, very, very important role. Very important role. Even when you train animals, you have to give the animal a goodie. Yes or no? When the animal does exactly what you have asked that animal to do, you have to quickly put a goodie. If you've gone to the shows, you know, these dolphin shows and all that happen in Thailand, UAE, America, and all these in the water worlds, you know, you have this big dolphin shows. The dolphins do so many stunts. At the end of it, the trainer puts a fish. Quickly, the trainer will put a fish. Why? Motivation. Always motivation. So same thing with your children, you know, motivate them for everything that they do. Oh, come on, yeah, lovely. And then again, they'll dribble it for 2-3 times more. Superb. So today we've done 10 times. Come on, tomorrow let us see how many times can you do. And you will see that this indirectly through gamification, you need to play games with your children. Yeah. So with that. Also, with respect to more attention, even if you play Ludo with them, see, anything that takes time, they get restless. They get very restless. So play some game with them wherein they need to complete that. Today we are going to complete this game of snakes and ladder. And if you complete it, you get a goodie. Get a goodie in the sense, just give them something, you know, oh wow, we completed together. Come on, let's have a burger together. Okay. But don't get into that habit of all the time giving them a goodie. Otherwise in life also, okay, I've done this for you, so now please give me this. Yeah. So you have to have that kind of discretion with your children. But this is how you can increase the attention span of your child at that point of age. But then this ball bouncing and dribbling works at any age, even people as senior as us also at this age also. If we really want to keep our attention, our focus, we need to do these small exercises wherein we can do it. That's it.
Very nice.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the insight.
We have one more question from Neelam Narendra.
Yeah.
She has 6-year-old girl.
Shelly ma'am, before Neelam ma'am's question, there's a question from Madhuri. I think she's put it for the second time. First, let's read that out.
Yeah, please do read.
Madhuri, yeah, how can we motivate for studying to a
Same.
child who's
Actually,
not
the
listening?
question is same. Neelam and Madhuri's. The question is same.
Yeah. Yeah, that is attention. No? Yeah, same thing.
Yeah,
Same
yeah. So
attention,
that's why
right.
I read the question. That's why I picked up
Yeah.
Neelam's question. That is
Yeah.
about how to motivate the children to
Yes,
study.
yes. Okay, now Neelam's question, ma'am, I have a 6-year-old girl. She's active, percept situation, but don't take interest in study. How can we involve in study? See, the thing is that children, the moment you say study, they are not going to study. They are not going to study. It has to be fun. Okay, come on today, let's have fun. Let's do something different. That's something different, because wo padhai ke naam se, they are going to be repelling. Let me tell you, I'll tell you my own example. Okay, I have a 13-year-old boy. Complaints from the school all the time. The teacher, ma'am, he is not doing the project, ma'am, he doesn't submit on time, procrastinating, absolutely procrastinating, knows everything but is procrastinating. Now the previous day he wanted a laptop, so I told him, okay, you want to buy a laptop, you will choose your own. 13 years, I said, you will choose your own laptop, you'll do your own market research. He did his own market research, and then he went to Amazon site, he went to Chroma to find out, he went to Vijay Sales to find out, he spoke to people, and he did all of this. So ultimately then I really realized, I said, see, education, yes, of course, study is there, but then I think these skills are much more important than that is to be a go-getter, to speak to people, not to fear people, to be extrovert and things like this. So I think we need to don't only just concentrate only on studies. Study, if the child is doing whatever is necessary for school, just let it be. But I think now skill development is much more important. Then leave your child to learn from the environment more. So study, yes, I do understand that you will if you have this study problem will go on continuously throughout life, but I think we just need to tell our children that this is something basic that we as parents expect from you. We don't expect much from you at all. We don't expect you all to do household chores for us, but this is one thing we expect. So please just do this one thing for us as a child and as a parent, so that we can have the child and parent. That's what I do. That's how I explain the children, and I say I don't expect anything from you at this moment. House chores are being done, your clothes are being ironed, your everything is being taken care of. So I'm not asking for anything. I'm just asking for one thing. Just give me that one thing. That's it. So one thing at least you all can do for your parents. Yes, fine. So please do it. Bus. That's it. So children are smart. We just need to just tackle them here and there, and that comes only through experience. You just need to try it. It's all trial and error. There is no set rule for anything. No set rule for. So if this is the method I have thought, maybe it doesn't even work for you. So you'll have to find your own method. Yeah. How to help your child to stop using, what is this? Let me just see. To help using bad words. So where is the child? 1 minute, my charger. I'm just using charger. So where is your child learning these bad words from? We need to understand this first. That is, where is our child learning these bad words from? Please look at the environment first. Please check the environment first, that there is somewhere that your child is learning these bad words, and these bad words that you need to explain. How old is your child, by the way? Sorry, how old is the child here who's asked me this question? Sanmeet Kaur, how old is your child? Sanmeet Kaur? There is someone in the surrounding.
You can just type the age in the chat box.
Yeah, just type the age. Just type the age. Yeah, because the thing is, what? See, I'll tell you, the child doesn't know what is a bad word. The child just doesn't know. Like in our school also, we had a child who used to come to us in grade one. The moment some child would do something, he would start MC and BC, because the child doesn't know what is MCBC. He heard the father saying that at home, and the child came and he knows that, okay, if somebody is doing something wrong to you, whenever you feel angry, you have to say MCBC. So your anger is cooled. That is how the child perceives. That is how the child perceives that the moment you are angry, the moment you say MCBC, you are this thing. But So this is what we as parents need to know, that somewhere the child is learning. So we can't tell the child, you can't stop the child from saying this at all. First, you need to find out the environment and stop exposing the child to that environment. Only then the child will learn, because the child doesn't know. He knows A for apple, B for ball, and he knows whatever that there's no difference between good and bad at all. So please first check the environment. That is it. For a child, you need to check the environment.
Dr. Sagarika, the girl is 2.5 years old.
2.5, that's what her 2.5 years old. So that's what she's learning it from somewhere. She's learning it from somewhere. So she needs to, you need to go with her and check the environment from where she's learning, because she can't differentiate. The child is too small to differentiate between good words and bad words, can't differentiate. No. I hope that's clear. Yeah. Yeah, learn word dirty and putting on everything she doesn't like and on person. Yeah, obviously, because this is what she's learned these dirty words from somewhere, and now she knows, okay, something that I don't like. That is what, if I'm angry, I have to use that word. That is what happens. So the child is learning from the environment, is aping, absolutely aping. So you need to understand that environment और उसको वहां से आप निकाल दो. पहले आप प्लीज जांच करिए, बच्चे को ले जाइए जहां से ये सीख रहा है बच्चा, और वहां से फिर उसको दूर करिए आप. वो आपको, जो पेरेंट को करना पड़ेगा. Any other questions for me?
Sonia ma'am, you can talk about the forms also. By the meantime, if
Yes,
some more questions will come, we can answer.
Yes. This is a request to all the participants. Please fill up your form, feedback form, because that will only help you to get your certificate, okay? And mention your correct email IDs in it, please. Please do cross-check that you've put the correct spelling of your name and also your email IDs. Aryan, okay, that's done. The Aryan sir has already shared the feedback form for you all. Please fill it up without fail.
And my all dear friends, in that feedback form, you might be getting 4 questions. And those 4 questions are the part and parcel of what Dr. Sagarika has preached us right now. We were listening to her, and I think, the attention was so rapt. So I think you will just take 2 to 3 minutes to just write the answers. So I request all of you to quickly write those 4 answers. Okay, and submit. By the meantime, we'll chit chat with the Dr. Sagarika. Yeah, Dr. Sagarika, I have a small question for you. I think just 15 to 20 minutes back, I switched off my camera for a minute because there was a doorbell. And as soon as I went outside to open the door, there was nobody. And there were 4 neighbors standing there, and they asked me, ma'am, you also got that ding dong? I said, yes, of course. Then they complained that, yes, there are small children in the apartments between 4 to 8 years old, and they are doing this prank, We have this 10-storied apartment, so, a doorbell, tick, 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 and then they're running from...
Even lift. They press the lift buttons also around all the floors, and the lift, they enjoy it.
All 10 buttons and all. Yeah. So since I was attending the meeting, so I never had a time to talk to them in such details. But then they asked, ma'am, let's go, let's complain. Let's go to the society office. Let's complain about these children. So I just want to know here, should we go and complain against those small children, or what should be the stand taken by the parents?
Certainly you shouldn't complain.
Yeah, of course.
If you complain, see, this is a prank and children enjoy this. This is something that they are enjoying, they're just enjoying. And especially during these COVID times, we need to understand one thing, see, times are very different now, very different. The times have changed. So I think these kids, they need that kind of excitement in life, which they're not getting at home because of, first of all, nuclear families. And both the parents are working, both the parents are busy with their own respective meetings. The child is lost. The child is absolutely lost. So now that after so many months of not being together, now that they have come together with everybody, now they're thinking, and these are very normal pranks that children do. But it is always better to call the children, and have a word with them. Oh, today you all did this. For a minute, we were really startled when you all did this, what happened? Aapne to humko dara diya. Then they lie, dar gaye, they feel very happy about it. But then after that, you also tell them, also inform them that what you did this today, you scared us. It was a prank you played. But imagine a person at home who is sick, and you ring a bell. The person has to get up from the bed and come and open the door for you. So will you like that to trouble a person? I'm sure you all won't like it to trouble somebody like that, you know. So don't do this. You want to play a prank, want to play a game, let's play it all together. Let's play it all together, but don't do things that cause inconvenience to others. So give them the difference between the convenience
Yes.
and inconvenience, because children are going to play pranks, and this is what is creativity also. See,
Yeah.
understand that they are also finding ways. This is also their ways. It's a creative way of doing things. So let's look at it differently and explain it to them that this is convenient and this is inconvenient. So let's always involve yourself in things that is convenient to you and doesn't want inconvenience to others. तो आप उनको अच्छे से समझा दोगे ना, they understand it very well. Children understand it very well, but we should be able to bring it to them. वो चिल्लाना, चीखना, complaining, these things don't work with them at all. You know, it just doesn't work with them.
Yes. So
Yeah.
that was in my mind. I just spoke to them that, yeah, I have a
Good one.
budget.
Yeah.
I will be speaking to you later on.
Yeah.
Okay. And the next, you know, when you were speaking about the experience, exposure, empathy, resilience, and all. So there was one small thing, you know, which came to my mind as one of my friends, you know, you remember when Mom movie was released?
Mhm.
Mom.
Okay, I don't know.
Okay. Sri Devi's Mom movie was released.
Okay.
Okay, so there were families who were going to watch the movie, but then, you know, one family, because my friend told that the father got annoyed
Mhm.
that the movie is not worth
Mm.
to be watched along with the kids, because it's on a sensitive issue. So kids should be, you know, refrain from watching some such stuff. So this is one example I'm telling you. But then, yes, there are a couple of times when you know, the father becomes rigid. No, children should not know this. Children should not be taken to that place. Avoid children. So I could correlate all these examples, what you told, that why you should refrain the children, because they should also be exposed. So I just want you to come up with these examples, that why, if some parent is so strict with their child, see, do's and don'ts. You're not supposed to go there. You're not supposed to eat this. You're not supposed to talk like this. You're not supposed to do this. So do you think so many, you know, hindrances and obstacles and conditions should be there for the child?
That is the thing, you know, we start the day with there's a no for everything. You start, ye nahi karna, wo nahi karna. Don't do this, don't do that. Don't touch this, don't go here, don't. So what are we trying to do with the children? We are only trying to bring the negative aspect of everything. Instead of that, if we change our dialogue, if we change the same thing, if you want the child to say no, but you change the dialogue and you say that if you do this, this could be the repercussion, this could happen to you. So then the child understands. But you know, this no becomes later on what happens, the child is so frustrated with that no, the child will do exactly what you don't want the child to do. And this is what is happening. This is exactly what is happening, because child then want to do exactly what you don't want them to do because of that constant nagging of no. So that's why parenting, you know, parenting, I tell you, Shelly, you brought in a very good topic of parenting today. Parenting has become an imperative coaching style for everyone, because now children are coming from different generations. The parents, they don't know how to bring up children. And what is happening, if the parenting is not good, then our world is not a peaceful place then. These frustrations go up later on to become, you know, they become negative emotions. And when they become negative emotions, then there's suicides happening. So many suicides, mental health. People are not resilient. People are strong, not strong. They're not robust. Then a mental health is challenged. People are going into depression. There's so many cases of depression. So all these negative emotions come from all the negative, you know, appearances that the child has during the child's childhood. So parenting is a very, very, I mean, very imperative, very necessary topic for today's day.
Yeah, and one more example, you know, see, when we talk about very young children, maybe 2, 3, 4 years old. So at times when they come to school and come up with a weird word, which doesn't suit their age.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the teachers, the school authorities, they are surprised. How could this 3 to 4 year old child know this particular word? Obviously, the child might not have picked it up from the school, but then from where? Then from the background, from the family. Okay, because someone there might be using that word. So this is what, you know, the parenting, you know, the child should be groomed in such a manner, because whatever we speak, whatever environment we give to the child will be picking up the same environment. So I think
And
it's
we
high
need to
time for the
monitor.
kids.
The environment has to be monitored. Like we send the child down to play. They go, they sit with the watchman down. They go with it. So environment, even other, your peer group also is a very big influencer. Peer group is a huge influencer. You know, we don't realize that he's gone to play with a particular friend. What is he learning from that particular friend? So many things that children learn, bad habits. The children learn bad habits from peer groups, you know. At home, we don't instill bad habits into the children, na? But still they have the bad habits. Like somebody said, abusive words. For all you know, that the stimulant is another child with whom he's playing, and the child is using it, and they're using it in a very fun way, very fun.
Yeah.
So that is the thing, you know.
Yeah, that's great. So I'm getting so many responses in the chat box that I believe all the participants have submitted the form. But see, this is mandatory that the form for all the 3 days should be filled and submitted. This is the condition. This is the condition. If we receive the form of all 3 days, then your certificate will be mailed to you tomorrow morning. And I hope you all guys
Aryan,
are
please,
filling. Yes.
Aryan, please share the form once again. I think some of them have missed it out in the chat box due to some technical reason. Yeah, thank you.
It is shared. It is shared. So, and please do share your authentic email ID. Email IDs are very important because we're gonna mail it to you, to your respective email IDs. Okay. So over to you, Sonia.
Ma'am, before we wind up, I would like to add a few words to what ma'am said. Like, you know, when we are saying a no to everything to a child, we actually, what as ma'am said, we kill the curiosity. But in some ways, you know, it always takes a very different consequences also, which we would have never thought of. Because the child knows that we are always going to say a no to whatever he has to come up with, they out of curiosity take a wrong path to explore those things. And in that, they sometimes take a very wrong turn in their lives. So that is also harmful for them. So I think it's much better that we become good friends to them and guide them in the right way. At least whatever they are doing under our observations and under our eyes. So it's easy for us to guide them at that time and correct them.
Right. It's 6:59. Can I take leave because I need to
wait. Yeah, that is what I'm telling you. You were such a great, you know, trainer that I did not realize that it is already 7. Okay, so just accept a small token of our love and appreciation from Kids Captivation. Okay, this is just a small tribute which we are giving Dr. Sagarika. You were a great help, a great trainer, and believe me, the audience have loved you. I could see the response in the chat box also. And this is not only for the first and the last time that you're coming to the Kids Captivation. You are already in, and we would be calling you in another one of our sessions. So stay tuned with us, stay in touch with me, and also please do share the poem of yours. Okay, I will be sharing it in the group.
Yeah, I'll share the poem. Poem right away.
So thanks a lot, Dr. Sagarika. Just lots and lots of love, warmth from Kids Captivation for the wonderful rocking section you had today. And I believe it was fruitful, and so many, you know, insights and takeaways were there for the participants. Thanks a lot from Kids Captivation.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed it too. And
it was an honor. It was an honor to have you, ma'am, and listening to you. Thank you so much. You're a part of our family now, and we will keep listening to you very frequently.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care, everyone. Stay safe. And see you all soon. Thank you very much, Ms. Shelley, for having me over.
Yeah, sure.
I enjoyed the session. I enjoyed the questions.
Same here.
And I enjoyed the reaction also. Everyone, they had very good reaction. So that was really good. Thank you very much.
Okay, ma'am. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
So now let's talk to our dear participants and everyone over here. I believe each and everybody might have filled the form. See, this form is very, very important. Okay, and now we will be seeing, after this session, we will be seeing that how many participants have filled the form for the, you know, continuous 3 days, and then we will be issuing your certificates tomorrow morning into your respective email IDs. And see, Kids Captivation can never end the session without any surprise. So I have a big surprise for you, that since we have already announced that you will be having the 3-day training session as free of cost, and today it was the 3rd day and the session was over. But yes, before ending the session, I have a surprise for you, that we will bring a 1 week teachers training program from 12th November to 18th November. And it will be conducted on both the modules. One, on online as we are doing it at present, and one it will be on offline mode in Maharishi University, Noida. So see, according to your convenience, if you are comfortable with the online forum, please register yourself. We will be sharing the link, and moreover, you might be having the phone numbers and email IDs of Casey. For any query, you can just call us on the respective mobile numbers given, or just drop a mail. Okay, so only this much information I am winding up. Before winding up, I am sharing that it will be conducted on both the modules, online and offline. So you can register yourself on the online forum also, and those who are nearby, NCR, Delhi, nearby, or even the distant places, if you can manage to come and register yourself, then we will have a fantastic a week's training program. And also, if interested, you will be given the accommodation also and the other facilities also. It depends. The other details will be shared very soon. Okay, so stay in touch with all of us. And I could see by the smile, and I don't know if I don't mention the name of Sonia Mahendru, the session will not be complete. Today also I'm enjoying her infectious smile. Sonia, now I don't know, you might be winning so many titles during your school and college days about the beautiful smile, Miss Beautiful Smile, because this is the title which I'm giving you from Kids Captivation for this 3-day teachers training program.
Thanks a lot, ma'am.
And similarly, I just loved the other participants also, Navleen, Nilima, Seema, Rajbi, for not, and even Sanmeet Kaur also, for not switching off the camera throughout. You were with us and with grabbed attention. I was zooming you out. You did not realize I was zooming you out. I actually found you out, jotting down the notes and writing each and everything for the consecutive 3 days. So you are very obedient, obedient teachers, obedient moms. Then of course you should be the obedient educators as well. So this bring us to the end of the session. But yes, the session, Casey, is not over. We have to connect with you in the next upcoming episodes, sessions of Casey. So stay tuned with us. Stay tuned with our group. If any query is there, you need to contact us through phone or email ID, anything. We will always be at your service, because this is the Teaching Learning Forum. And I think together we need to learn, and together we need to grow, and together we need to excel in life, because teaching, parent, it's a beautiful golden triangle keeping the children in between. Okay, so this is an ongoing process and it should go on. So before I say bye-bye to you, please give me a beautiful smile and lots of emojis and heart on the screen, so that the technical team can take a good photograph of all of us with a good smile and cheers before we come to our final bye-bye exit video song.